Hi everyone, and the Scotmid kitchen is feeling so festive today. We've been singing carols and playing all the songs. I love it. I love Christmas. Now, this recipe is a bit of a nod to the current vintage trend. So we're going to be making some gingerbread, which is something that I think people don't make that often these days. And I have a really good old-fashioned gingerbread recipe for you. These are my edible gingerbread dominoes. So the best way to approach this recipe, I think, is to have everything prepped in advance. I mean, that's a great tip for any baking job that you're doing. My oven is preheated to 200 degrees Celsius. For the full recipe details, do head on to Facebook and you'll see everything there, but I will run through some things with you just in case. Great tip with making gingerbread is to have an oven-proof dish at the bottom of the oven filled with water, and the steam that will rise up as the oven heats up will help prevent your gingerbread from cracking. So that's a great little tip. Ruler is really handy for your making the dominoes. Rolling pin, wooden spoon. I've got some greaseproof paper on a board. I've sifted together my flour, my bicarb of soda and my ginger. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add to a saucepan and melt through my sugar, my syrup, my treacle and my butter. Right, so I've kind of shaken through the dry ingredients. The wet ingredients are melted through. Smells great, it smells like Christmas in here. And I'm going to pour the wet into the dry. So I'm going to just mix around and it will all come together. So, you know, be a little patient. I'm going in. Okay. So there's my gingerbread dough. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it out to a thickness of about a pound coin. So I have got my gingerbread dough down to, as I said, the thickness of about a pound coin. Now what I'm going to do is I've pinched this from my kids. I've got my ruler because, you know, dominoes, you want them all to be the same shape and the same size, is I'm going to go along with my ruler and a sharp knife and I'm going to cut out my domino shapes. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and down again at the bottom. Okay, so now I'm going to use my ruler and I'm going to cut down. There's something very satisfying about cutting through gingerbread. Maybe it's just me. Next one. Yep, that's about halfway. Probably should have measured that, but it's nice to be a bit rustic. Depending on how big you want your dominoes, is how many you'll get. These are 3 centimetres by 8.5 centimetres. Space them out a bit on the greaseproof paper. They will expand as they cook. I'll bake these for about 7 or 8 minutes, and then I'll come back to you and let you know what happens next. So the gingerbread has now thoroughly cooled down, and let me tell you what I did. I let them bake for 7 or 8 minutes. I took them out, and then, being a bit of a neat freak, I went in with my ruler and my sharp knife and I tidied up the edges, because as they cook and expand, you know, they go a little bit skew-whiff. So a bit of rustic is okay if that's what you want, but I think for the fact that these are dominoes, I wanted them to be nice and straight. And this is the fun bit. This is when you pipe on your domino dots. So here we go, first one. So once you've iced your dots all over the dominoes, then totally optional, but you can get some little silver dragees, edible silver balls, and dot those on as well, or gold, or, you know, leave them completely with the chocolate. It's entirely down to you. So I would love to hear from you in terms of what you're doing this Christmas, any baking ideas, any tips. Please do like us on Facebook. at Scotmid Food. You can find us there. Follow us on Twitter, loads of tips and recipes. Be the first to know by following us on Twitter at Scotmid Food, and subscribe to this YouTube channel totally free. Again, just search for us under Scotmid Food. I'm going to finish these off, but please can I wish you a very, very Merry Christmas.